it was great to get a win against them at a major tournament. It's been a while since we've had one of those, so that's huge for our confidence level. We go very deep into our defensive rotation just because we have a lot of very strong, confident, capable athletes that are also very good when we get the turn.
You guys picked up Alex Norwood this year. How big of a pickup is that for you guys?
If you watched any of the games today, obviously huge. It's sort of like having Randy Moss. I mean, you can sort of change your game plan every once in a while to make goals easy. And he loves matchups. We put him on Damien a fair amount. We put him on Mike Grant a fair amount. Obviously, two of the best players in the game, and it's working out. I mean, we've been beating those teams with him taking those matchups.
Let that nonsense ride. Let that nonsense ride.
backed off Mike Payne's hand.
Yeah, Pete. Mark driving towards her.
You playing in the Nationals?
Yes.
It'll be obviously nice to have Idris back. What kind of impact does he make on your team?
Oh, he's huge. I mean, he's one of the best throwers around. I mean, he's just confidence. He brings everybody up.
Is he your quarterback?
Offensively, he's one of them. You know, him and Damien kind of lead the offensive charge. His hucks are just, you just can't match them.
Not even Crookshank?
Yeah, he can match him.
Tell me a little bit about Crookshank. You guys had a defensive call. Whenever you got the disc, he was yell shank, shank, shank.
Yeah, I mean,
what does that mean?
It means he's got the disc, back your man. I mean, he's just his deep hucks are just unmatched. You know, especially when he's throwing to Mike and he's throwing to Andrew. You got to back him. It's just too dangerous.
Thummer
was unbelievable, just unbelievable. I asked him about it. He said he just caught it, thumber grip, and just ripped it, and everybody on the sideline was just blown away.
Sam, what makes Andrew Lugsden so dangerous?
Andrew's dangerous because he's a threat around the disc and going away. He's a great handler that has all the throws imaginable, but if you give any room to go away, every player on this team will put it to him without hesitation.
Must be nice to be able to float those into Chase like that, eh, Sam?
Yep, that's what I was doing all weekend long. You see Chase go, you give him the rock.
Dennis Karlinski pleads innocence, but the replay shows everyone looking at the disc except for Dennis. Andrew Fleming using his speed to get position on Mike Grant for that disc. How important is speed in Ultimate?
Speed is huge. It's like height. It's one of those factors in sports that you can only contend with more of it, with more speed or more height.
How important is intensity?
Intensity is another huge factor. The team that's usually going to win is the team that's going to want it more, especially at the level of nationals. The level of speed, the level of height, the level of skill, those are all things that are mostly going to come out in the wash. So it's about who makes the plays and the intensity of the teams. This is one of the situations where Furious does a really good job of clamping on our handlers, and we don't adjust to it very effectively. We learned from this, though.
But not before Alba makes you pay with the Callahan, and he looks for Keith after the score.
Yeah, I think those guys go way back. They've played against each other for a long time.
How good of a defender is Chase?
Chase made some huge plays this game. He's always a great defender. On this point, he skied Andrew on defense, and on the other end, skies Mike on offense, which not many people in their lives can claim they've done.
What does Lou bring to the team?
Lou is one of the great inspirers that I've ever played with. He gives more heart and more energy to every second he's on the field.
Rumor has it you pulled something doing that.
Yes, I hurt my neck. I'd be more careful about doing that sort of spike again. Times when we get a little too excited by having Nord going deep, but that's happened to every team that's ever had him.
You've said the Furious is your toughest opponent. Why is that?
We started running flat stack this year, and they're the most experienced team playing that offense and playing against that offense, so they had an edge more than anyone else in stopping the flat stack.
What does Alex Nord do to defend against Mike Grant?
He's a lot more physical on defense than Mike Grant is used to, and that Mike Grant is comfortable with usually, and that has sometimes taken Mike out of his game a little bit.
You had a pretty big Callahan this game. How was that?
I was gratifying because I was a little upset about a call that happened right before that. So on Keith who threw the Callahan to me. It's good. Yeah, it was an easy one. Had lots of time to catch it.
It was getting pretty heated there. Do you guys have any bad blood with this team?
I mean, I think it's just that we play them so much. You know, like we played them at Solstice, we played them at sectionals, we played them at regionals, we play them here. We had a friendly when the Aussies came through to go to Worlds. We played them there. So I mean, I think it's just that it's almost like that hockey thing where you see each other, 4 times in 7 at a series or something, and it's like, though we don't do it quite so quickly, it's like best 4 to 7 over the season, and we get to know each other so well that various things add up.
What do you look forward to playing yet in this tournament?
I mean, all the teams are playing so well. I don't know if we're going to get to play Ring, but I think that they're a team that we've had really close battles with the last 2 years, and I would love to play them again. I just love coming to this tournament because when you go to so many tournaments where the games there's only 1 or 2 good games. Even at regionals, we had 3 good games, and then we played a high school team, which was really fun, and a couple of college teams and stuff. But it's so nice to come to a tournament where every single game is hard, even if you win. And when we haven't won any games by a large margin, but even if you do, it's only through playing extremely well and playing extremely hard. You can't take any games off.
You guys had that huge Callahan by Albob after a few chippy calls. Big plays like that, what does that do for the game?
Those fire you up, especially when the guy that made the chippy call threw the Callahan goal. That's always a double boost. Those kinds of things should fire you up, although funnily enough they went on a run right after that, so maybe we got too amped up, too hyped up and lost focus, but they should fire you up and push your momentum forward.
So obviously intensity is a big part of this game.
All the teams here are pretty aggro. Some of the East Coast teams have the reputation and mentality of being aggro, and that's what drives them. Our team, I think, by nature is not super aggro. We have to sort of make a play to get ourselves in the game sometimes, which is not the way it should be, but we're working on it.
Next you have Sockeye. What's your plan for them?
Well, we obviously need to contain them. They're probably the most athletic team here, and they have a lot of height and a lot of speed and a lot of very, very good throwers. So I think the key to that will be sort of contain their receivers. Not let them just huck at will, and then in the backfield sort of grind on their dumps, be a little physical with them, see if we can make them. Just take them out of their game so that they can't pass as fluidly as they'd like to. And then, if we get a couple of blocks in the backfield, we can sort of take them out of their rhythm. I think we can cash in on a couple of breaks and then, go from there. I think if we can get 3 breaks on them and our offense takes care of the disc, we can definitely win the game. Excellent. I think we match up on them pretty
proud of spiking it on the guy's back. This up, it was wrong. I shouldn't have done it. Absolutely. And that's why I have a bad reputation, is because I'm a hothead and I do stupid shit like that.
Is Giora a loose cannon?
Giora is a complete loose cannon. Yes, he brings a lot of energy to our D team and our entire team in general. Part of our game plan was to take the easy throw and not put it deep so much. And even though I was one of the people that decided on that game plan, I didn't listen to it at all.
Faith in your receivers?
Far too much, yeah. I got benched for a couple of points, which was good, and came back and played a lot better in the second half.
6'10", Mickey's proven to be quite a challenge for Alex Nord.
He did everything we needed him to. He didn't get every disc they threw to Mickey, but he got enough of them, and he made them think twice about putting it up.
How important is it to have a dominant big man in Ultimate today?
I don't think it's necessary, but it helps tremendously. It gives easier matchups to everybody else on your team because the team defending that person has to concentrate a lot of effort on taking away that advantage.
All right, Lou, you're through to the semifinals. Obviously, one of the goals for the weekend. How tough has it been to get here?
Brutal. We had 3 games, and if we'd won any of those 3 games, or if we'd scored 1 more point in those 3 games, we'd have had an easier road. But you know what? If I had to pick a team to beat in the quarters, it'd be those guys, because they ended our season 2 years ago, maybe on this very field.
Who do you guys play next? Pike.
And that loss to Pike in the first round has been a yoke around our neck all tournament because we keep getting stuck in these nasty 3-way ties with them, and we get the shaft. Well, now they're going to get the shaft.
Switches on his TV in search of some sort of explanation.
Pike's big men seem unstoppable.
That's the way we felt. No matter who we put on them, they would come out with the disc again and again. We have some of the best deep defenders that there are in Stoney and Alex, just to name two, and they were getting it handed to them.
What kind of adjustments did Sockeye make between the first game against Pike and the semifinal?
Our adjustments were all internal. They were all adjustments we made for how we played and not adjustments to how they played. We were a little bit more cautious on offense. We didn't need to put it up deep because we were getting open underneath fairly effectively against them.
How well do the Monahan brothers work the field together?
Amazingly well. They know where they're going to be, they know what the other person's doing, and they eat up a lot of yards. If we don't get it to our receivers in the end zone, then we just usually rely on our handlers, primarily them, getting the score.
Alex usually comes up with those discs.
And that's why I threw it to him. We all had a tough time against Pike. They had an answer to a lot of what we did, and sometimes we just had unfortunate mistakes, it seemed.
Will Pike be a force on the national scene next year?
From what I've heard, it depends on if they come together again. They were a pretty spread out team. They had players coming from all over their region. If they have the same guys, then absolutely. This kind of experience playing as a team and getting this far at nationals is only going to make you stronger. And I would guess that they will be back and they will be as strong, maybe even better. Making it this far gives you a lot of recruiting power.
How important is recruiting in Ultimate today?
Recruiting's getting bigger and bigger. We had some big pickups this year, and it helped tremendously. Jam's been picking up good players every year. The Condors have been recruiting out of college every year, and so has Dog. It really keeps programs alive and going over years.
To let that nonsense rock. To let that nonsense rock. To let that nonsense rock. To let that nonsense rock.
Sam, why did Sockeye switch to the flat stack offense this season?
It was a little bit of an experiment because it had been effective with Furious. We wanted to see how it worked and at very least be able to practice playing defense against it, because obviously once again Furious was going to be one of the contenders at Nationals, so it would be a great opportunity to have sort of a scout squad on offense to play our defense against.
Jam getting physical on the mark.
They were very physical. We had to talk about this throughout the game. We managed to sort of fight through it, but it was difficult. We throw a zone here on this point, and although they spread it out and work it upfield, we actually get our transition on pretty quickly and then get the matchups we want. On this point, our D squad got the turn and then worked it up from way in the back of the end zone. It was a great confidence builder to be able to go the full distance. It still sucked to turn it over though on an easy drop.
Bart Watson's not happy with the jam cutting, so he calls a timeout. Ben Wiggins with the big hammer, looking for Andrew Fleming.
After reviewing that one closely, it was definitely gettable. Andrew thinks he probably should have gone underhanded on that one.
Sockeye will get the disc back as Ben was fouled by his old college teammate, Josh Greenock.
Right here, Ben demonstrates what he brings to our defensive team in just slowing the pace of the game and making things look calm. This is where Damian goes deep, which is something he hadn't really ever done in our previous games. We played them 4 or 5 times throughout the year, and he almost never went deep. The last couple times we played them, he'd played a handler role almost exclusively, and Alex was able to very effectively counter that by pushing him back and then putting a really strong mark on him. But this time he was able to use his speed to get open going deep, and they put it to him fairly often. Kevin played it perfectly. There was almost no way he could have gotten that without fouling him, but it looks like he did.
And Mark Stone's not a slow guy.
Absolutely not. He's one of the fastest guys we have, but that just goes to show how good Kevin is. It's one of those just ridiculous plays.
What makes Kevin Cisna so dangerous?
He does it all. He's a great thrower. He's extremely fast and he cuts hard. He's very responsive when he plays defense, so he'll stay right with you. They had a couple of very unfortunate drops. Ben with great hands, Roger with great hands, and Lou also. Those guys aren't going to drop it very often, and they all managed to have drops in the finals.
Roger Kraft's comes out of nowhere for that D.
Roger is one of the more explosive players I've ever played with or against. He has the ability to just go horizontal and come up with the disc.
Ben with a crafty high-release flick.
Ben really works on his release points. He thinks that people use the advantage of traveling a lot right now, and it may be true, and once there's tighter observing and officiating, it's going to be all about release points and quick movement. So I think that's part of the reason he's working on doing that right now.
Josh getting fancy with the behind-the-back pass to Alex Nord. The Jam is calling a stall count violation on that.
We've seen Josh do this on a number of occasions, and I've never seen him turn it over. It's not that he practices it, he's just ready to do it. He, like Ben, has a lot of crafty release points, and apparently behind the back, lefty is one of them.
Damian Scott again going deep for Jam.
They did a good job of using Damian for what he's really good at, which is getting open, going deep, and getting the disc.
Mike Caldwell with the lefty backhand to Sam.
Something I've never seen him do before, but he chose a good time to pull it out.
Jeremy Cram just gets to that disc.
That was a necessary layout and an amazing D. There's Pat coming up big for us. That's a rivalry that goes back to college for them. Roger calls a smart timeout here so we can settle it down and take the half.
We are gonna eat them alive this half, okay? Everybody flying around the whole time, okay? I expect them to throw a little zone here, so be chill offensively, but throw a lot of fakes because they're really camping out on their marks. You might consider taking that first hit. They want to stop our play by hacking us early, so maybe take that first hit and then get the throw off without calling anything, okay?
Look around and see who you're playing with. This is the last half for me to impress Brooke Martin, for me to impress Mark Stone, for Mark Stone to impress me, for me to play with Danny Tridiak, for me to play with Keith and Matt and all you motherfuckers. I want to make it good. This shit is fun.
All right, get
on.
Let's
bring
that
Start
shit.
flying around, guys. Don't let me show you up, fellas. Come on, dude! Come on, dude! Fish! R-E!
Roger Crafts goes deep for a beautiful outside-in flick from Phil Burkhardt.
Roger plays mostly defense, but we bring him over when we need sort of a spark, when we need some speed, and we often run plays that'll play to that advantage.
Sam puts it up. Oh, and Chase comes down with it.
Once again, I had a lot of faith in Chase's abilities, and he didn't disappoint me.
That was a huge catch.
One of the most amazing plays I've seen in Ultimate. Jim was right with him the entire way, and they both get, it seems like, 3 feet off the ground.
And Lou takes the worst of that collision.
It's lucky that Lou didn't die there. Chase made every play that came to him, and that was honestly the difference in the game.
Why was Chase never in the running for the Callahan Award?
He was not in the running because he chose not to be nominated by his team. I think he would have had a very good chance of doing it. He was probably the best player in college, but he was never an option to vote for.
How do you stop Idris' scooters?
Really, I think the only thing you can do is get your hands up. I think you can play Idris a little bit better by keeping your hands up and forcing him to go low, which is sort of counterintuitive because most handlers like to go low. Idris has a lot of weapons, so sometimes you just have to do something a little bit different to take him out of his game.
Mark Stone comes up big over Jeff Eastland.
After really tough semis and finals for Stoney, he finally got the game saver on golden goal with that D on Jeff.
Giora comes up with a big D. Let's take another look at that one.
Saved the game again. We had 2 gigantic Ds on game point, one from Stoney, one from Giora. That's where our speed really comes in. We were able to get in there, get into position, and take the disc away.
Kevin Cisna playing physical with the game on the line.
That was the way it was the entire game. Whenever he marked up on me, you knew every time he got the disc because he was bumping you in the back. Pretty exciting.
For the game-winning point. Sick.
Get out!
Andrew, anything for the camera?
I love it. There's nothing else you can see.
You're so intense out there, you can't even stand still on the line. What's that all about?
Too excited. I don't know anyone to play. I don't know how else to play. Suck guy. I love this fucking team.
1, 2, finish! 1, 2, finish! 1, 2, finish!
Work! Nice work!
Chase is the fucking man. He's been bringing it all fucking year, all tournament.
Yeah, my brother knows how to throw it.
And he was
hammer.
I warmed up my hammer all year and I haven't thrown it until today. 2 hammers. It was stupid.
Yeah!
Huge G. Huge G on game point.
Yeah!
How's it feel?
Like a national champ. Yeah!
What do you guys say? What do you guys say about Roger's hammer on game point?
Roger's the man. Everybody knows it. All the time. His hammer's money. And J.A.Z and Nord have the best hands in the league. Up high. You can't do anything with that. That's sweet.
What do you think of Roger Kaff's hammer for game point?
The biggest balls in the world. We all knew that.
Did your heart stop?
No. I saw Chase. Did you see in that game? You were taping, right?
Yeah.
You knew he was in the end zone. I knew he was in the end zone. That was it.
What do you guys say about?
You're rock, baby.
What do you guys say about Chase?
What can be said, dude? Did you see it? When you taped it, he caught everything I threw to him, which is saying a lot. This game and last game. Those Carleton guys know how to play in the semis and finals. They've been sandbagging all year.
Chase, you caught everything through your way. What do you guys say about that?
Good throws.
Congratulations, guys.
How important is speed in this game?
Speed kills. Almost every sport, speed kills.
My style is the best.
Last weekend you were playing at the UPA Championships.
Yeah.
Now you're here at the CCC. What kind of a difference is it in the game?
The difference in the game is just colossal on the club field. I'm always matched up against a guy I'm just struggling to get open on, who's been playing the game longer than I have and is smarter and more athletic. And everyone's fighting matchups like that. And here you've got some younger guys that are coming along and their instincts aren't as well developed. And it's totally a different mentality that you have. Out here you can sort of light it up a little bit, take your chances, and be confident that you're going to get it back. And when you're playing club, all these teams have such good players that you can't really rely on anyone to give you the disc. So it's a real different mentality.
You guys lost a few big names from last year. Let's talk about that.
We did, yeah. We lost Parker Krug, who is some of the best throws I've ever seen. We lost our Callahan winner, Josh Richter-Ackley. We lost the most underrated player in college ultimate, Keith Bizarro-Hunsinger. And those guys are all done for sure, which is a shame. Those are some of my favorite teammates ever, and they're just phenomenal players. But we've got a few very big returners, and I think we'll recoup better. I think we lost a lot less than a lot of teams think we did.
Who are going to be your big names this year?
Oh, Bo Kittredge, without fail, will be lighting up the headlines. That kid is just a different breed of athlete. Richter had more desire than any player I've ever played with in my life. That guy could just will the team, the entire team, to win the game. And being on the field, he brought the level of everyone's play up just by his sheer desire for wanting to win the game.
What do you bring to this team?
Oh, God. I'm a loose cannon, a head case. And when I get aggravated, I say all the wrong things. That was Richter's thing for me, was he just, he wouldn't ever say anything. But you could see him on the field, and you could see it in his eyes, man. Just the way he wanted to win. He wanted the disc more than anybody, and that was just huge. So I'm hoping that I can bring just that, sort of quiet determination to the team. People can feed off that.
How important is intensity in ultimate?
Oh, it's extremely important, particularly in college. I saw last weekend a lot of the club games. You'd have the most intense D you've ever had in your life, and the offense would just be so good they'd score anyway. And I don't think any offense in the college game is that foolproof. If you come down and you're playing really, really intense D, and you just want it, you just choose to play that kind of defense, you're going to get turnovers.
What does it take to want it that badly to play it consistently?
I don't know. I think it comes from inside. I don't think it's really something you can teach. I think you have to kind of be around people that have already had it established. And I don't know. I don't think I quite have it down like Richter did, but I first got that from my high school coach, Michael Beccarini, who's still coaching at Paideia. He's just, really good at sort of, the way he talked on the sidelines and the way he, taught us to play the game was with fire. And, I'd like that to continue with Colorado, and hopefully we can get some of these rookies playing that same way.
How big of a role has Michael Beccarini played in your ultimate career?
Oh, he got me addicted to it. And that's why I shell out $1,200 a year on plane tickets to fly to these tournaments when I'm a broke-ass college kid. And, I started playing in high school, and I couldn't get enough of it. It took 3 practices or something like that, and I saw Jason Simpson. He was like my first ultimate role model. I saw him make this just hellacious layout grab in the back of an end zone, just at a high school Frisbee practice. I saw it, and I'm like, I want to do that.
And it makes me feel real good. And it makes me feel real good. And it makes me feel real good. And it makes me feel real good.
came back. I told the crowd I was gonna throw it.
Oh, damn.
It was ugly, but it made it, and we're champions. Show them the trophy, man. Get it. I knew I was gonna throw it, man. Had to. I told the crowd I was going to. So.
I'm John, 6'1" shotgun.
Joey D.
Just so you guys know, that D stands for dominate. He's coming around, he's touring the U.S., dominating you. Look out!
Teammates, just met some teammates.
Yeah, he's new, he's coming out, and look out! Peace, we're out. We're out.
All day long!